he suddenly came over the back fence onto the wheelie bin, and he lumbered down an awful noise, which he didn't usually do. You know, he'd be light-footed, and suddenly I'd look out, and I think, and he'd come in, and then he sort of was violently sick on the floor, and then he started crawling round to his litter tray, and he lay and sort of weed in it, and he just couldn't seem to get, you know, be a normal self. And it was so quick and suddenly one evening, and that was it. He was never the same again.
Now we're going to tidy up the skin, remove all these lumpy fleshy pieces that are on there. And what I used, actually, I found this horn, which is from Switzerland. It was a holiday token, and it was going for 50p, and I thought, I know what I could use that for.
I get a lot of pleasure from stuffing the animal, from skinning it right the way to the end, because I think it's an achievement to find a dead animal and then to recreate it and give it like a second life, really.
Now that's something that a taxidermist cannot really recreate, is the personality or character of the animal. You can work from photos of when it was alive, but you'll never know that character, and so that's where it gets difficult. The dog can be mounted, but it will just still look like a dog when it's done. And the thing is also, it doesn't have soul. The soul went when it died, and owners seem to think you can recreate something, this magical thing about it, but you can't. You can just remount the skin of the animal, so it would be the same dog, but it just wouldn't have that magic about it, I don't think.
Does getting the cat stuffed, does that help with coming to terms with its death?
It did in the early days. It did definitely in the early days. It seemed to help quite a bit to feel there was some of him there. I could get him back and still look at him, and it was a bit real. It seemed a bit real still. I got hold of John McGowan, who was a taxidermist, to see what he could do for him, and explained the situation, and took him down Boscombe in the basket, and he kept him for quite a few weeks, I think, while he did him.
When did your interest in nature start, John?
My interest in nature, when I was a baby, really. I can remember when I was only 4 years old, living on the outskirts of Bournemouth. I was fascinated by spiders and lizards and bees and flies and things like that. And ever since I've been fascinated with wild animals. I spent most of my life watching them in the wild since a very young boy. I'm going to snap the legs now.
Some people will find this incredibly squeamish, but that's fair enough. But no, from a child could have considered me a bit strange, a bit of a tomboy maybe, I don't know. My father would bring home some pheasants sometimes, and I was always there watching him skinning the pheasants, and he would cut off the legs. He'd give me the leg, and I'd take the legs to school, and the tendons would be poking out the top, and you could pull the tendons and the claw would go like that.
Do you feel that you've become desensitised towards things like this? Because like, to me that's quite graphic, like inside out.
It can look like something out of a horror movie, I'm sure. If anything, which when I'm working on deer capes, I actually find therapeutic shaving the skin. There is actually something about the feel of shaving skin which you might find very bizarre, but I actually find it quite therapeutic until I make a hole.
I thought it was a bit of an injustice to waste parts of the animal. I thought if I could use as much of the animal as possible, then that's good for the animal. So I preserved loads and loads of skins, and I made like quilts out of them, continental quilts, like for bed, or mittens, things like that. I eat a lot of my dead animals actually, and I enjoy eating them. I do think it's better meat than the meat we're used to in supermarkets.
I won't eat the flesh because the table I work on is not a hygienic table.
And I eat all kinds of different animals, whether it be game birds, whether it be venison.
All I want is the skin to come off nicely.
Squirrels, rabbits, ducks. I eat blackbirds, thrushes, whatever bird I find. Generally I eat it. I ate the heron, which is behind you over there. People always eat those kind of animals with relish, and I certainly eat them with relish as well.
What are your views on the relationship between humans and animals?
Very sad, actually, the relationship between human and animals. I admire nature, its cruelty, its kindness, but at the end of the day it's about survival of the fittest in nature, and it saddens me that we interfere.
Its earthly skin is a thing of beauty, and I see the earth as a thing of beauty, and to think that through many millions of years of evolution we have created this beauty, then I think it's good to show others that beauty, and people are awestruck when they see an animal close up and actually realise what a miracle life actually is.
The oldest cat, Squealer, he's a lovely cat. He's always been a beautiful nature. He never gets angry, never cross, always very peaceful, does his own thing, but he's just devotedly always there. He's always been there while I've been in this house, so it's going to be a terrible wrench when he goes, but I expect I'll get in touch with John and probably try and keep something of him. That's it, it'll be the three of them then. Three brothers.